Welcome back, everybody! Actually, thank you for joining me if this is your very first time. This is RynoRyder's podcast, and we are going unplugged. And what I mean by that, if you have been following or watching any of my stuff, you can obviously see this is not my studio that I normally do my podcast in. We have set up a beautiful arrangement here. Nice on the couch. We got Max joining us. I have no notes. I don't have any outlines. We're going kind of unscripted on this one and trying something different, which I encourage all of you to do. And I am super happy that my first guest into this foray of exploration and innovation is none other than a friend of mine, a colleague, and just an all-around amazing dude, Chase Coleman.
Thank you very much. So happy to be here. Unplugged. First one.
Unplugged.
Pop the cherry. Here we go.
Cameras. Boom. We're good. All right. So Kai, you got to give me a timer.
Okay.
What do you give me an hour? Okay.
I'll stop you right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to stop like on the hour, but like
I'll just give you a sign.
Because I'm realizing
past an hour.
I'm not.
I'll wave
by
at
the
you.
way, the here's okay. Talk about we're gonna get into so much good stuff. So Chase, for those of you that don't know, Chase is an actor and a musician, has we have worked together in the past on a short film, and. I don't know. Tell your fucking resume. I don't know what to say. I mean, I could say whatever.
Actor, musician. I would say primarily actor, but recently in the past year or two, music has really taken more of a spotlight in my life as well. So acting and music are right around here.
Shout out Mercy Mode.
Mercy Mode.
Kai, link it up
at Mercy Mode Band. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Check it out. But actor. I'm originally from Louisiana, and I went to New York when I was about 21-esque to pursue the dream of acting. Life's been great. I lived in New York 7 years. I worked on quite a various TV shows and things. And when I was in New York, I would play acoustic shows kind of here and there, but I really kind of put music on the background and focused on my acting. And then about a little over 5 years ago, I moved to LA. And have since then been pursuing the acting still with that, and things have been going fantastically. But recently, as I just said, in the past few years, I was fortunate enough to have been on a show called The Originals and started going and signing and autographs and taking photos at various fan conventions that has then allowed me to play my music. Yeah. So I've been really pushing my music more, and it's been going very well. And now I've been traveling the world with the band and performing. And
true. Where did you just come back from?
Just got back from Dusseldorf, Germany, Amsterdam, and London.
That's awesome.
And we'll most likely be going to Brazil this coming September.
What do you see the second half of the year? Do you think it's going to be
there's a lot
more music or more on the acting side?
Well, there's quite a few conventions, so quite a few appearances happening, and a majority of the time when I go and I appear at a convention or something like that, I also try to bring the music with me.
Right. Because
here's the thing, I'm just being straight honest with everybody here.
I'm all about honesty.
All about honesty. When I was on the show of The Originals, it was fun and amazing and fantastic. I was Oliver on The Originals, and when I went to the first convention,
like one of the funny things about it is like Abby was like die hard, like
The Originals,
everything, and so when like you came into our lives,
yeah,
she was like, oh my god, he's Oliver,
like. That's cool, yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
But as Oliver,
because I've never seen
it.
I've never seen it.
But as Oliver from The Originals, going to these appearances, I wanted to make it not focused. I didn't want everybody to always be focused. Oh, look, it's Oliver from The Originals. Yeah. I wanted it to be focused. Oh, it's Chase.
Yeah.
It's Chase.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is just the branding. Like, what does Chase offer? What does Chase want to be known as?
Yeah.
So, I really wanted to bring the music more and have it be more about me as a personality, not necessarily just I was this guy on this show.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've done pretty damn well, so it's because it's been, 3 years since I was on the show, and I'm still going around and still getting to play music and meet everybody.
Yeah.
Having a blast.
I'm always very jealous of when you're posting like on your Instagram story like,
London.
heading to London, no big deal. And I'm like, dick. Like,
London was a lot of fun recently. I got to go with Micah. I think Micah was here. Did Micah come too?
So if anybody's ever watched any of these podcasts, Micah Parker
at Micah Joe Parker.
Kai, hit it up. At Micah Joe Parker, Micah we did a podcast together. It actually, I mean, like none of these videos are getting like tons of views, you know what I mean? But
not yet.
His was actually got a lot. I think we had a really good.
Cool.
Yeah, we talked about some good stuff. You know what I mean?
Push, promote.
Just
blast.
Yeah, just like you know, I mean, we just talked about, and that's what this show is about. That's what RynoRyder is about. That's what all this shit is fucking about. Is there's very few people in our industry, especially in Los Angeles, that are just showing everything and trying to everything.
Yeah,
And
full frontal.
I do it with zero expectation, but 100% intent. You know, I mean, personal stuff aside. You know what I mean? Like I got my message. You know what I mean? Like a year and a half ago. So that's the other thing. But I just really. Innovation, like what we were talking about before. Innovation. So, all right, let's talk because a lot of people I've had on here, I talk about where their passion for storytelling or performing or whatever came from. Yeah. Mine, movies from I always say movies were my sanctuary. Like they were the only thing I could rely on. It's very, you know what I mean? And not that my childhood was that miserable or whatever, but like I just spent a lot of time alone and hard time with expressing feelings or understanding feelings. And so I would just
an artist. Man.
Yeah. So I would just, and movies were always there. I was like, oh, I can just go okay, here's a real story, to get deep first and then we'll get into yours. But the night my grandfather died, he was in the hospital for 6 months, right? He had broken a hip and then got sick, blah, blah, blah. Or, was in a coma, you know what I mean? It was weird. And we knew he was going to die. And it was my mom, my brother, and I in the room. There was a mattress there because my mom had been staying, she knew it was near the end. It was 2 a.m. And I was I don't know, 10, 11, something like that, and I was like, Mom, I'm tired, can I go to sleep? Is that bad? Whatever. I'm just gonna fucking go with this story. I went to sleep. My grandmother, his wife,
yes,
who had died months before I was born, so I'd technically never met her.
Okay.
Visited me to say I'm here to take him, and I woke up and my brother was sobbing, crying, my mom was crying, and my grandfather had passed. And sit there for an hour. They took the body. After that, we go home. It's 4 a.m. I don't know what my brother was doing, but my mom was washing dishes. You know what I mean? In the kitchen, her fucking dad just died. I was awake. I couldn't go to sleep. I didn't know what to do. And I remember and coming upstairs to her and saying, Mom, I can't sleep, but is it okay if I watch a movie? And she said, of course.
You were already awake. This was
No, this was that night.
That night,
4 or 5 in the morning.
Oh wow.
We're at home.
Okay.
He had just died hours ago.
Just got home, gotcha.
And I didn't know what to do. I'd never dealt with death or whatever. And I said, can I watch a movie? And she's like, of course, sweetheart. And I had a whole fort bed already set up in front of the TV.
How old were you at this point? Just curious.
10, 11, something around there. Yeah.
All right. So you had a whole thing.
And I watched Empire Strikes Back.
Nice.
And I felt so it was like a hug. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So,
Kai, you're getting some good stuff today. to get super. And Kevin got me fired up this morning. Fucking Kev. I got super emotional this morning with Kevin too.
Oh really? Full front.
So that's my so what is your
Heart of an artist.
What is your like where did stories come performing anything
When I
like
was
that?
So here's the thing. I'm sure everybody is familiar with the term ADD or ADHD.
Sure.
I am an ADHD person. When I was a kid, I was a tornado. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't shut up. I got in a lot of trouble when I was really, really young before I felt, from what I remember, from before society kind of really had a really good grasp on what that meant. There was nothing wrong with your child who had ADHD.
Right.
It just,
Yeah.
they just needed to be looked at a little differently than maybe the majority of kids that were in school. I legit got expelled from my first elementary school because I couldn't be quiet in class. I couldn't sit still. They didn't know what was wrong. I got paddled a lot,
Like wooden paddle?
Yeah, I went to the principal's office and they spanked me with a paddle.
I went to a Catholic school for 9 years. I legit ruler on fingernails. It's funny.
I grew up in Christian schools. That was a school called OCS, which is in Monroe, Louisiana, which is where I'm from. That was a very tight Christian school.
Especially down in the South, it's like part of the culture, right?
The thing is, I remember being terrified when I remember getting into the hall and they tried to take me to the office, and I was being terrified going to the office to get paddled. Eventually, I was removed from that school. I went to a new school, and I was put on some medication to calm me down. And I'm still the same way now. I feel there's a fire in my heart.
Yeah.
It's an energy. It's an excitement. It's a passion. And the reason I'm telling you all about this is because I remember being so young, and when I grew a little bit older, loving the aspect of attention on when I would perform.
Same.
And how people would respond to me.
Would you act up in class? Like I would
Eventually-
act like a monkey. And the teacher's like, Ryan, get down. And I'm like,
Exactly.
whoo, 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 whoo. Like, fuck you, because the entire class was
I
laughing.
love it, and for me, it was like magic. It was like I could do something, and I would elicit a response.
Yeah.
Whether it be, most of the time back then, it was the laughs.
Sure.
But now it's like the laughs, the cries, the scares or whatever it might be. So that turned into, as I grew older and was still in school, I still would get in trouble. Even in high school, I'd get pink slips and things, go to detention, because I'd be in the front of the class entertaining.
Yeah.
And I'm from a small town. There was maybe one or two theaters in the town. One that was very prominent and known, which is still there, Strauss Theater in Monroe, Louisiana. Yeah. And I did some plays there. I'll get to that in a little bit. But before all that, now I didn't do theater in young school or anything. I didn't get into theater until I was in college. So because I was doing so many sports, and then I even was doing the music stuff and the band stuff in high school. But that was, the music stuff was another form of that performance.
Yeah.
That
same high.
Yeah, and it's so interesting how all that began too, because the music began because I was in high school and I went to we were in Destin, Florida at the beach, and I was with my friend Carolyn Scalfano, and she was there with her guitar, and she started playing a song, 3 Libras by Perfect Circle, favorite song in the world. And she was
Your
like,
favorite
"Please
band
just
is Tool.
sing." Favorite band is Tool, yeah.
See?
Old school.
I remember.
Yeah. So
Not a
Perfect
lot,
Circle,
but just
same
that.
singer, Perfect Circle,
Of
same
course,
singer.
yeah.
And I just started singing, and that literally bred into something else where I joined a band and this and that, and then over time,
That's super cool.
still doing music in college. And then that's where all the performances began. It was kind of a way for me to express all this that was in here.
Yeah.
I just was trying to explode out.
So you want to know something interesting? And
that?
I've said this before, so I'm officially on record. But so freshman year of high school, all I wanted to do was I didn't want to fucking go to high school. You know what I mean? All I wanted to do was make
school
movies.
was a drag.
We had one video production class. That was the only thing that I could do.
I don't remember us ever having something like that.
And so out of 4 years in high school, 2 semesters each year, so 8 altogether, freshman incoming first semester couldn't take video production. That was a rule. Okay.
What? Wait, because you're.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But
Okay.
so I didn't take it that first semester.
Yeah.
I then took it the next 7 out of 8 semesters. It's
Yeah.
the only fucking class I gave a fuck about.
Yeah.
Shout out to Corbs, if you're watching this. I love you. He's my mentor, high school fucking.
Yeah.
He's the best. I still talk to him this day. But first semester freshman year, I could take a drama class, and I had always put myself in my own movies. Right, I'd made a bunch of movies at home with my friends and blah 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 blah.
I did the same.
And always, like I'm fucking Schwarzenegger because Schwarzenegger's my favorite.
Back
like,
then he was
Back then,
he was still
how about
amazing.
fucking now? Did you
I
see
know,
that video?
no,
It was
he's still
fucking
amazing.
like I
No,
love him.
What do you
I
mean?
love
What do
him.
you do? What are you talking about? What video?
Oh, this video is like, and not to get political or whatever. I don't
I'm
want
just
to,
curious.
say, but like he posted a video about him like talking to Trump and
Okay.
basically like.
I know they had a little
You
back
dumb
and forth.
fuck.
I remember
like,
that.
Yeah, and so it made me happy. I mean, the day I get to shake that man's hand, I'm gonna break down in fucking tears. So I took drama, but I never like officially acted, right? Or as an improv class, and that's where it was perfect because the same fire, attention, like, oh, what do I need to do to grab your attention? Oh, anything? Cool, I'll do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I took this improv class and like killed it, and ended up doing like it was like a, I don't know, maybe like 100 or 200 people. Like, we had like a nice theater, like performance theater, like stage and everything. And we did like an improv games type show, like the Drew Carey one, I forget the name of it. And they asked me to be in it, and it was all like juniors and seniors. And I was like, oh, okay. And but like, I felt that fucking rush and whatever. And my drama teacher said, but I was a jock. Because my brother was 5 years older than me, quarterbacking, whatever, and I was a quarterback in football. You know what I mean? That's just like the direction I was put in. Like, that's the path I thought I was supposed to go in. And she was like, Ryan, you have to audition for the spring player, or whatever. Da, 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 da. And I was like, no, I'm gonna play football.
Mm. You didn't do it.
Nope.
Oh man. Yeah.
True story.
You reminded me too, because like Ryan Haynes, shout out. Ryan Haynes, Neil Chappell, Jack Henry. Man, when we were kids, junior high, elementary school stuff, we were making little movies, man. We were making little movies that was a combination of Star Wars mixed with time tracks, mixed with some Star Trek. I mean, mixed with GoldenEye on N64. Yeah. We would go, my buddy Ryan, man, he had the VHS cassette recorder. And then when we would edit it, he would go and get sound effects from N64, from Shadows of the Empire, from GoldenEye, and he'd like, do the firing, like he'd hit the fire button and use that as a sound effect for the gun. That's awesome. He was great, man. We still have those movies. I want every time I see him. Oh, he's like curing cancer and like curing everything. He's the king of the world. He's super genius.
Shout out to Ryan Haynes.
Guy's a nuclear physicist.
You have the greatest first name ever, and you're doing good.
No, I know. He's great. I actually saw him a few weeks ago. He visited me in LA. But anyways, we used to make movies and stuff as kids.
So let's get out of Heedy. This has been like pretty cool, I think, so far. But let's, because I want to provide value and information to, right? I'm all about filmmakers and showing filmmakers, talking about it, whatever. So Chase and I did a short film together. Yeah. It's called Apocalypse the Drunk.
Drinking a whole bottle of Listerine.
That was great. So great.
Real Listerine.
Yeah, wink, wink. But like, you and I have never like fully talked about like the process, and I'm very curious to see, and I think it'll be informative for other people, for us to like be like honest in terms of like how it all came together and what we did. And it's an interesting one because out of those three Apocalypse shorts, The Drunk's my least favorite. And I know where I fucked up. I think I even texted you one time, like a little while ago.
I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, and I was like, I see where I fucked up. And like, I had a 14-minute cut, and then I had a 6-minute cut, and then a 9-minute cut. You know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't find it because all I wanted to do was just like get, like, right? Because I always talk about restrictions. And I just wanted to like keep us in that car or in that truck. You know what I mean? And I didn't even have a script. Remember, you were like, what's the script? And I was like, fucking let's just go. So I'm very curious. It'd be good to like get your side of it. I mean, now after, almost or probably 2 years or whatever passed,
2 years.
Like I'd like to like go back and reflect on that and tell me from your perspective, like, your remembrance of that experience of doing that project with me.
Let's see. Let's see. So the drunk. I mean, from what I remember.
First of all, you came up with the character. Like the drunk was the drunk,
because we
but
made him.
I think I made businessman.
I made him
and
the
you're
rock
like,
star.
what if he's a rock star? And I was like, ooh,
Well,
let's go the crow. And you're like, dope.
Yeah.
And I think the look of it, which by the way, have you seen the fucking pencils of the graphic novel?
No.
Oh Jesus.
WTF?
I'm gonna
You gotta send it to me. You gotta send it to me. Yeah. I remember I was talking. I remember back then because my hair was long, and I was keeping it. This is actually long now. I was keeping it. It goes in cycles.
Yeah.
I potentially might be cutting it next
I
week.
just cut my hair.
I might cut it short next week. Really? Oh, you're carving it up.
She cuts me and
Are you nervous about it? Is that why?
No. I just.
It looks great.
Yeah.
You should let it out more, man.
Should I?
Yeah, it looks great.
But see,
You cover it up with a hat.
Easier for me to just put on a hat.
And
And
it looks
plus,
great.
it's kind of like.
Is that how did you just wake up?
This is like my jersey.
You just wake up like that?
Huh? I fucking wake up and I wear the same clothes every day.
You know, I had the longer hair, and I think you said businessman, and I'm not ever opposed to playing a character like that.
Sure,
but for me, in that point in time,
And you did. What was the show, the TV spot you did where you had really short hair and you did? It was like a CSI or something like that. It was like you had short hair, or it's on your demo reel somewhere. Like I've seen you with like really short hair.
Boardwalk Empire, The Good Wife. I'm thinking of the short hair ones. The Good Wife, Boardwalk Empire.
It was maybe I think it was Good Wife.
Law and Order. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I was in court.
Yeah.
Don't you remember? I was in court. I was the bad guy.
Yeah. Chase the best.
Yeah, bad guy. I was playing bad
Super
guys.
passionate. Can I just give you super love right now for anybody watching this? Like, I like really fell in love with your creative process and your like. So I'm going back to the drug. And I'm totally interrupting, cutting. But like,
this is what it's about.
It was like for me, it was like a super love fest of just like, oh, he's beautiful. Like I love the hair and the look, and I was just like, yes, go. And we did like 5-minute takes and stuff like that, and I was just like, just go, and it was just like, anyway.
What I remember is that you had given me a script, and I knew the script, and there are not really a lot of lines, obviously, because I'm there and I'm with my thoughts.
Yeah.
And I'm with the other character, which is the body, the corpse, the man who
which is never like but never like explained, only like what do you say, implemented.
Yeah,
you know.
And so what I remember is getting there. When it comes to a situation like that, when there are not really any lines, I love to get there, and I love to first off really explore my environment. Where am I going to be living? Where's this character living for this small world we're creating, or big world? This was a small world, a truck. So,
small world, theoretic, or but like theoretically maybe like
part of the
biggest
bigger
world. Yeah.
So, I remember getting there, and then you showed me the truck, and then having all the cans and this and that. And then I think, just allowing things from the world to feed me. I look around, and I get ideas. I get ideas of things, and I'm like, well, what if I did this? Or what if I used this and I did this, and stuff like that. So, and I try to remember. I haven't watched that since then. When it came out,
views. It's like 600-700 views.
So I don't.
Pretty cool.
I don't remember too many specifics of things, but I do remember getting there. And I'm like, what if I try this? What if I try that? So I'm always about bringing ideas and thoughts and having ideas and thoughts and a collaboration because it's a team effort in creating these things.
I remember. I can distinctly remember because we hadn't. We didn't know each other that well. It was like we had met once, and then it was
that was the process.
And then it was like hey, you want to be in the short? And you're like, yeah, cool. And then you actually showed up, and I'm like, cool. The guy from like the originals is like in my short film. This is awesome. Yeah. I do remember you just like very quiet, like sitting on the couch, like patient, not like just. Not you weren't like how you are now, which is funny to see. And also, I remember the time we met at BW3s and you had just come back from out of town. You're like, I haven't eaten, and you crushed like wings and fucking burgers and whatever. And I was like, this guy's fucking
sounds
crazy.
delicious right now.
Yeah,
shit.
right.
Yeah.
So that was a cool experience, and then and the greatest part about this and what we're doing right now is that who fucking knows? like who knows, 5-10 years, like, all right, we're making a graphic novel and you're the face of that character and you created that character, and I'm like, I'd be like bullish to not think that it's gonna become a massive world, you know what I mean, and like it always, and it'll be funny that we can go back in like 10 years and go back and look at that character, and I'll laugh because I'll be like, I wrote him as a businessman. Like, it's still in the script. You know what I mean? And you're like, I made that character. You know what I mean? Because I'm definitely like it's so much more rich and cool and creative than what I had in mind for that character, and it was so.
Well, who knows? But who knows?
So thanks for bringing that to life.
But but I want to say something, not to knock your own idea, because who knows? If my hair had been shorter back then, and my mind was in that space, I like what we created. But maybe if my hair had been really short, and maybe I think because a big driving factor was my hair's fucking long, bro. And I'm like, I would have to put it up or something to really make it. You
should go watch The Drunk right now. His hair is so pretty. I fell in love with it. I was like, dude, and I just watched Lethal Weapon 3 last night, and I'm staring at Mel Gibson be like, that's the fucking perfect hair. That's literally like how the hair was. It was great, yeah. So, yeah, super cool. All right, cool to revisit that. Gosh, let's go, all right, let's go nostalgia. Let's go movies, okay?
Okay.
I actually just posted or I haven't posted it yet. I'm probably going to post it today. It was testing out a template Kev made, which was just record 10 videos, hit render, and it automatically edits them together, and they can be anywhere from half a second to 60 seconds.
Is our audience familiar with what you're referring to?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I talk about it a lot.
You talk about it? Okay,
yeah,
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So you haven't talked about it.
It's very complicated, so I could sit here and tell you.
But they've heard you talk about it before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
No, there are no secrets. There are no strings. So I had the idea of like, I'll use that 10-shot template to say my top 10 favorite movies of all time. My top 5 movies haven't changed.
Mine are pretty
long
very much there too.
6 to 10 are kind of like variable.
Yeah.
So if you have a top 5, I'd be very, very, very curious if we could run. Let's go.
Ready?
You want to go 5, 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3.
Sure. So we're starting at number 5. Okay.
Oh, this is dope, Kai.
Let's see. And okay. Wait.
You want to go first? I can go first. I'm gonna go first.
Boom.
All right.
Boom.
I'm gonna go first. My number 5, and it's been a solid number 5, is Glory.
Dude, you need to meet my buddy. You need to meet my buddy Robert Amaker. He's a gamer buddy of mine. He actually lived here for a little while. He's gonna be moving back in a little bit. That's his top favorite movie. He grew up watching.
It's my number 5.
Oh, it's your number 5.
It's my number 5.
I think
we're going 5. We're going countdown.
I think.
Countdown.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. That's one of his top faves. But he actually, don't hate me, I had never even seen Glory until he showed it to me, which was about a year ago or something like that.
I talked to a kid yesterday that hadn't seen Jaws, and I wanted to punch myself in the face.
I just watched the Steven Spielberg documentary. Have you seen it? You need to watch it.
I've seen everything.
You've seen the Steven Spielberg documentary?
I've seen all the footage.
It's inspiring.
I've seen all the footage separately. Yeah.
In fact, you reminded me of it when you were telling your story.
He's my favorite director of all time. Two of my top 5 movies are his, but not the number 1. Not the number 1. All right, so number 5.
So number 5.
By the way, and I also like to try to give trivia. So Glory, 1989. The director is Mangold, James Mangold. Yeah, I believe.
Wait, are we doing films and directors?
No, just any info tidbits you want to throw to people.
Got it.
Because, dude, you'd be surprised how many people haven't seen Glory. Because there might be like, Kai, have you ever seen Glory? See, exactly. You see what I'm saying? These freaking kids around here, dude.
I was just saying, how old are you though? Because that's why. Okay.
But no, not if you want to be a fucking filmmaker. You should see everything. Anyway, go ahead. So, number 5.
Yeah, boom. I'm trying to think I don't want to misspeak. Boom. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to spoil the surprise. I'm going through my head. Boom. Okay, so top 5 would probably, or the
Number 5
cinco would be Mission Impossible 2.
Ooh, what?
Yeah, I know.
What?
People are kind of like, what?
What?
Dude, John Woo.
Not 3?
No. Dude, Tom Cruise, long hair, looking hot, like super dramatic fight action scenes. The white doves flying everywhere. You don't like it, I can tell you weren't a big fan of that.
It's
one.
out of all the Mission
I
Impossible. No, out of the first 3, because I think 4, 5, 6, they all kind of are the same now.
It's a whole.
But
It's a new franchise. It's a whole new franchise.
Yeah. Out of the first 3, I would put that as the lowest.
Which-
but I love John Woo. I love John Woo
as well. Which, by the
John
way,
Woo.
I love Tom Cruise. I think he's a badass. I love him as a powerhouse.
I love him
what
as
he creates.
Yeah. I don't like the products he has
I
been putting
understand.
out.
I
Like,
know.
you got
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you don't like you see the Jack Reacher stuff? You don't like the Jack Reacher stuff?
A lot of his stuff is, but I give kudos. Like he did a Halo jump for the last Mission Impossible that's coming out now. Like,
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
no, that's
I love
great.
Mission
But
Impossible.
it goes back to my whole thing.
So,
of
yeah.
spectacle first instead of story.
Number 5 was Mission Impossible 2. He had the long hair. He looked great. They had.
You know what his
dramatic
problem
fight
was?
scenes and stuff.
You know what his problem was? He stopped working with great filmmakers. He started taking control over the process and producing his own
He's
shit.
definitely in control. Yeah.
But like if you go back, okay. Like very, very deep emotional. Like one of my favorite directors of all time is Tony Scott, right? Late and great.
Yeah.
Like Tony Scott,
Yeah.
right? Top Gun. I just watched it actually like 3 days ago. Tom Cruise in Top Gun, and it's not like because it's Top Gun. It's like watch it as a film. Don't watch it as a fucking spectacle. Watch it as a piece of cinema and storytelling. It's fantastic, and Tom Cruise is not bridled. He you know what I mean?
You know they're doing a new Top Gun.
I know. It's gonna be just like it. It's gonna be like all of his Mission Impossible movies.
Curious.
But at least Tom Cruise respects his audience, knows it, and over delivers for them. And so that's why he is absolutely, hands down, will go down in history as one of the greatest. Scientology or not, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Whatever. Tom Cruise is one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So that was your number 5, right?
C.
My number 4. Okay. Right. So, okay. Wait. Okay. I'm doing the same thing you are. Okay.
You don't want to misspeak because one might be
Right.
before another.
No. Because
Yeah.
okay. What is my number 4?
I have a tie. I'm gonna have to say 2. I have a tie. If you need to do a tie, you can do it.
No,
Only on number 4.
I wrote it down. I fucking recorded a video of it yesterday, and I can't remember. Okay. 5 Glory. Oh, I got it. I know. Number 4.
Yeah.
Favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
Braveheart. Let me tell you why. Kai, I want you to cut to this angle exclusively for this thing right now. I'm going to get close to Chase.
Okay.
All right. Let me tell you why Braveheart is one of the greatest movies ever made. Not only is it, I don't know, shot in the CinemaScope format, the most beautiful format allowed, shot on film, a traditional film. It's an epic 7-act story structure, the likes of Lawrence of Arabia and Casablanca, right? But it was the second movie Mel Gibson ever directed. The second. Oh, by the way, he fucking starred in it as well. Guess how many takes he gave himself each fucking time? 1 to 3. He could not wait to jump back behind the camera to fucking tell his story. That's a fucking storyteller. Shit on him all you want, whatever your fucking opinions are, whatever, and it's not even the best movie he's ever made, by the way. But it's my number 4 favorite.
Which, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, pretty sure it won 7 Academy Awards.
Right, like, yeah, if you're into
Best
that,
Director,
which
Best
I
Picture,
could give a fuck about.
Best Picture, Best Director,
But
Best
there's-
Score, I believe.
Go, Kai, can you link
Yeah.
up right here? Wait, I'm gonna see where it's, like maybe like right here, okay? Or right here. Chase, point right here. Right here.
Right here?
Kai, put that picture of Mel Gibson standing
From
at the
Braveheart?
podium
Oh.
holding 2 statues.
There you go.
Fuck everybody else. Sorry. Anyway,
I
that was
don't,
on
Numero Quattro. I am going to, for Numero Quattro, I am going to have to say it's a tie between. Actually, I take that back. It's not a tie. Number 3 is going to be a tie because these two movies are amazing, and they were big deciding factors of me being an actor. The Saint with Val Kilmer.
That's so funny. You've told me that before, and that like blows my mind because I mean I saw it in theaters when it came out. And maybe seen it
These are
one more
movies
time
that
after.
they have had such an impact on me as a kid growing up. I just remember that particular movie, seeing Val doing all those different characters, like, and the film itself, Elizabeth Shue, you know, and just everything about it, I just loved. And I've seen that movie a million times. Like every time I watch it, I love it.
Do you know I did marketing for the Ten Commandments musical starring Val Kilmer?
Really?
Like back in like 2004 or 3 or something like that.
Wow.
Check it out. It's actually dope. I have a DVD copy of it. Or
Amazing.
just go on YouTube.
Gotta
and
definitely
look,
see that.
The Ten Commandments, Val Kilmer, watch it.
Yeah,
the music's really good. You'd actually dig it. It's the guy that did the music, produced, music producer, did like late 80s to early 90s Madonna.
Okay.
So very catchy.
Is it like a musical? Like people are singing it?
Yeah.
So
and
Val-
guess
does
who's
Val sing?
no, and guess who the supporting fucking cast member is? He won American Idol. Adam Lambert. Adam Lambert. Shout out Adam Lambert. If you ever fucking see this, I'll tell you. The very first, I watched it like 6 times, 10 times, whatever,
Yeah.
you know, working.
Yeah.
But the very first time, about the 3rd or 4th song in, he has his like solo, you know what I mean? And the first time I was like tears. And I was like, this is the most amazing voice I've ever heard in my entire life. And he was like super young, you know what I mean? Whatever. Hadn't even been on American Idol. Years later, I happened to turn on the TV. I had never watched an episode of American Idol. Yeah. It happens to be the finale, and he's singing, and I was like, and I heard it, and I was like, that voice, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
So shout out to Adam Lambert, great.
Rock.
All right, so the Saint, you're number 4. All right, number 3.
3.
Number 3. So my number 3 and my number 2 are by the same filmmaker, who is my favorite filmmaker of all time. Yet he does not hold the number 1 in my spot in my you know, because of whatever reasons. We'll get to that.
It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing because
strange,
my favorite
right?
song is not by my favorite band.
My favorite album is not by my favorite band. Nor
How
is
does that happen?
Yeah, it's like no, all of that. Yeah.
Mind blown. Okay, so number 3.
All right, number 3 is Number 3 is Saving Private Ryan.
Oh,
And,
yes.
It's the greatest for a couple different reasons. I'll tell you why. It not only does it tie in, like, obviously, it's the greatest movie of all time. If you haven't saw it, you're an idiot. Go watch it.
Beautiful movie, yeah.
Love it. I remember I saw it twice in theaters. I remember the very first time I see it, it fucking affected the fuck out of me. I'd never seen anything like that on
Nobody
cinema.
had, dude.
Nobody had, right?
Nobody. It was
So, okay, so that, you know, but I have this underlying, right, you know, I want to, like, destroy Hollywood, you know, like this thing. It also did not win Best Picture.
What won Best Picture that year? Do you remember?
Shakespeare in Love.
Really?
Yep.
Over that movie?
Let's just take a moment for that.
So that was a great movie, but it's not even. It's
sure, yeah.
Completely different movies.
Yeah. Wow. But like, Saving Private Ryan did not win Best Picture the year it came out. Fact. And whatever the other 3 nominees were, I don't know. Kai, look it up. Whatever the other 3 nominees, I don't know. I just know it didn't win and it lost to that. So it's those 2 things of like, and I watched that movie a lot, like monthly.
I want to watch it again. I've been wanting to watch it again. I need to watch it again.
It's the most okay. Oh, this is a good story. This is Unplugged, right? We're going to Kai. How are we on time?
We have 20 minutes.
Yeah, we can go over. This is good, right? Art Institute of Seattle. It was a lighting for videography class, something like that, right? Something about lighting. And so we had a project due that we had to pick a director. their style of like lighting or whatever, and then show an example and give a talk, presentation in class,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Everybody picked like, Schumacher or, nobody, no. Schumacher or Fincher or somebody with a very like distinct style. I wanted to pick my favorite director of all time, Steven Spielberg. If you go back and you watch Steven Spielberg's movies, like, and you try to define his movies with a visual style, it just isn't. Like, you can define his camera work.
It's because he doesn't stick with one genre. He always.
I know, right?
He's got
Yeah.
Jaws, and then he's got
Everything,
Saving Private
yeah.
Ryan, and then he's got
Yeah.
Schindler's List, and then
So,
he's
so he had to bring in an example, right? And so I brought in Saving Private Ryan as my example. And the scene everybody wanted me to show was the opening, because it's the greatest, right? Yeah. But because it's lighting class, I chose the scene where they attack the bunker, the little machine gun turret. And the reason I chose that is because it was like the only way I could define his visual style of lighting was to showcase the one with the least amount of lighting in it. In terms of like, it's just natural. It's just like what your eye would see if you were actually there. And like my teacher was like pissed I got a lower grade because I didn't use that first example.
What?
Because the scene is better or whatever.
Well, your teacher needs, hopefully, wow.
Yeah.
Blows my mind because because the scene was better. According to who? According to their opinion, right?
Right. Or no, they just wanted to see that scene. As I'm like, whatever. All right, so that was my number 3. Chase Coleman.
All right, so I might catch some flack from this because a lot of people are going to potentially say that one.
I mean, you're gonna catch flack
no
for
matter
saying
what.
Saint.
The Saint.
The Saint.
Oh,
But that's okay.
Because a lot of people are going to think that one movie is better than the other, and I would potentially maybe say yes, depending on my mood. But 2 big, huge films that were deciding factors in me wanting to do what I do as I grew up: Gladiator and Troy.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Similar, yeah.
And the reason is because they're both big favorites. Maybe they deserve different spots on my list. But according the top 2 that I'll say in a little bit belong in those top 2 spots.
Yeah.
These guys have to be before the other 2 I already said.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to start all crunched in.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to, and I did not want to not say MI2 and The Saint, because they've always been in my brain as my favorites for as long as I remember.
Funny.
I know. But so the Gladiator and Troy, Gladiator obviously, Russell Crowe, Ridley Scott.
Dude, and I'm on a really big kick right now of like, I really don't like Ridley Scott.
Yeah, why? What's up?
Have
you watched Westworld, by the way?
No.
I really love.
I don't watch TV.
You don't watch TV at all?
No, it's because
so
I can't invest that much
sometimes.
time into characters and stories.
I get it, man.
I need my in and out.
It really is a time sink.
Yeah, exactly.
There are pros and cons about
so
that.
like okay, so I already mentioned before like my deep love
Tony.
of Tony,
Yeah.
and it also goes into like mental health type of thing. Like the dude jumped off a
You
fucking
related
bridge.
to him, huh?
I
Always.
100% relate
Totally
to him.
got you. So then,
Yeah.
how does that?
Whereas Tony valued and put on a pedestal the written word more than anything, and he's a very stylistic director, but if you go back and you watch and you look at his career, the written word was first, always. Ridley is about spectacle. He's the complete opposite, and people are confused and tricked about that. If you go back and watch Blade Runner's a piece of shit movie, by the way.
The original Blade Runner?
Yep. There's not a screenwriter credited? Based off of short story by Philip K. Dick. Yes, Philip K. Dick, brilliant, like another level. Like I think he was an alien, like
Back
brilliant
then,
writer.
yeah, way back
Yeah,
then.
I mean his entire career, everything. There's no credited screenwriter on Blade Runner.
I never was aware of that.
So how could Blade Runner be one of the greatest movies ever made when the seed of what makes any fucking story great or any movie great is the written word, right?
Yeah.
It's like that. I'm super passionate
You would
about it.
think,
I'm super
definitely.
passionate about it. And so
Story.
I really just doesn't. And this is like, if he ever sees this, I'm sorry. Like, you've done really great. Like, you've also like done Thelma and Louise and Alien, but like you actually, because Alien was super young in your career, you had no choice but to respect the script, and it's an amazing
to interject
screenplay,
really
so, like,
fast. You just made me think of something, which kind of is crazy. Who did the sequel to Alien?
James Cameron.
Yeah, what the hell?
And by the way, it's
That's
better.
so amazing. That guy is amazing in his own, and he does a sequel, and it's also is equally as good. It's the same one.
I had the same thought last night because I watched Lethal Weapon 3, and I was like, there's been 4 Lethal Weapon movies, and the second one was the worst. Like, I think the third one's the best.
But then you have...
But that's so gone now. And it's because of the fucking story. And then I was like, who wrote the screenplay for Lethal Weapon 3? And I was like, a fucking Oscar-nominated screenwriter. That makes fucking sense. Who's written, like, 10 other amazing films. Like...
Maybe they thought, damn, let's turn it up a notch for this.
To go back to Ridley, The Martian, brilliant, amazing, great film.
Yeah, really.
Joseph, I'm on fucking fire. We're live right now. Do you want to come and sit down with Chase?
I really enjoyed that movie.
We're talking about Ridley Scott.
It's like...
Anyway, no, but The Martian.
This man's crazy. Don't listen to anything he said. What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
Joseph.
This is Chase.
What's your first out again? There we go.
There we go.
Hi, Joseph.
Joseph is like 20 and super awkward. He hasn't learned.
Here, little
He hasn't.
one.
Oh, Maxie! Maxie's coming to visit again. By the way, Joseph, your fucking shirt's super wrinkly. Come here. Come here, dude. I know it's Saturday, but we're doing something different. I want you to sit down.
I did. You know,
Notice we're not recording in my studio.
Blur
This
my
is
face
this
out.
is RynoRyder's podcast, Unplugged. You know how I talk about plug in to plug out?
Yeah.
This is Unplugged, bro. We're casual.
I have a shirt in my car if that'll make you happier.
No, do you want mine?
No,
Do you want to change?
I mean, this is a 3.
No, I'm just saying throw it in the dryer. You want a tick? Life hack. Life hack.
Alright.
If you have a wrinkly shirt,
Mm-hmm.
throw it in the dryer
Mhm.
with 1 to 2 ice cubes.
Mm-hmm.
Let it run for about 10 minutes. Iron it nicely out.
Alright, 1 to 2 ice.
That's a fantastic life hack.
It's
I
true.
wanna-
It's
I have
true.
never even
Right.
tried that. I kind of want to go try
Hey,
that.
how you doing?
Damn,
I'm very
that's
good.
genius.
It's good to see you.
You too.
It's good to
I
see
love
you.
you.
Love you.
The trick that I always remember hearing was you either can hang it up in your bathroom and turn on the shower and it gets really humid, or you can just wet it down and then hang it up on its own and it'll stretch itself out.
I just
That's
recently
brilliant.
found the ice
I
cube
wanna
thing,
try that.
and I tried it, and it works.
I want to try that.
All right, so okay,
Back,
where are we
okay,
at? Number 3,
Ridley,
number
so
2.
we're now we're number
Okay,
2.
yeah,
Now we're number
over
2.
with Ridley.
Yeah,
Over
now we're
with
number
Ridley.
2, yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah, numero dos. Go.
And it almost hurts me to say that it's not my number 1, but I'm very true.
But it's
I know my thing.
Okay. By
Right?
your favorite filmmaker?
Yeah, which is Jaws, and interesting story. Jaws was the very first Jaws was the first movie I personally purchased with my own money,
Wow.
like as a
I don't know
12,
if I
13,
remember
14-year-old or whatever.
Yeah.
And I bought it at Blockbuster on VHS. My first movie I ever bought. I watched it so many times that I ruined the tape.
Wow.
And it's not even my number 1 favorite movie.
Rip. Numero
By the way, if you
dos.
haven't fucking seen it and you want to be a filmmaker,
Definitely
I
see it.
hate you. Have you seen Jaws, Kai?
I watched very young, so I watched it. Yeah, very young.
So technically you've seen it.
Yeah, I need to watch it again.
Go watch it
First
tonight,
time ever.
please.
I will.
Please.
I'm gonna write that.
Just write it
Please.
down.
Please. And watch it in its proper format.
Well.
Like watch it as if you were like me at 14 watching it for the first time, except I watched it on the improper format of VHS. But like just you have to,
Jot
dude.
down notes.
You have to.
Yes.
My number 2 favorite movie of all time is actually a movie that you mentioned earlier in our conversation today,
Okay.
and it is The Crow.
Oh yeah.
The Crow is such an
number 2.
iconic,
It's so
legendary film, separated from all other films.
Kai, have you seen The Crow? He's writing it down
Write
right
it down.
now, dude.
Sure, yeah.
It's brilliant.
Directed by Alex Proyas.
So brilliant, yeah, and
Have you
potentially.
watched the behind the scenes on that, like
Yeah,
the DVD
I have
extras?
the book,
It's
I have
super
the
good.
book, and I've
The guy that created the comic book, like
yeah.
the personal story of it, like
Yeah. You heard about Jason Momoa playing the new one, right? Did you hear about that?
yeah. And I'm actually
I love Jason Momoa.
I do as well.
I'm
I met
excited.
him.
I'm excited.
He lives in Topanga. I met him
He and I
at
have
the
the same agent.
Really?
Yeah.
I met him.
Jeff
I met him at the Topanga store. And by the way, he's a giant. He's
Yeah.
bigger than me.
Yeah.
I'm 6'2".
He's a super duper chill guy. I've never met him.
Yeah.
Super chill
So
guy.
I walked into the store.
Yeah.
I saw him and I saw the tattoo and I was like, I think that's Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I quickly Google image and I'm like, yep.
Reference.
And so
reference.
yeah, I'm standing in line behind him and I just
Yeah.
I was like, hey man.
He was super friendly,
love
right?
it. Oh,
I've
super
always
chill.
heard that. I love to
He
hear
lives
that
in
shit.
Topanga, dude. What do you expect?
Yeah.
We're all chill in Topanga. Peace.
So yeah, The Crow, man. I've seen the movie a trillion times, and it's just
So good.
a place in my heart.
And
Yeah.
the story of like Brandon Lee, like that.
Yeah,
that,
I know.
you what I mean?
Heartbreaking story. Yeah.
Like movies that like the same thing like going back to Saving Private Ryan, how it didn't win the Oscar that year, but it's one of the greatest movies ever made. You know what I mean? Like the dichotomy of that, I think, plays into, or when you saw it, like where. That's actually before we get into our number one, because we're about to, and that will be like the truest of right everything.
Yeah.
I've mentioned before, but not recently, the power of cinema and the power of storytelling. There's a thing I say that there is no such thing as a bad story. There are only bad storytellers. No one story about another human being, which all stories are, right? The hero, right? Like we have a main
An
character.
entity of some sort.
Yeah,
you could relate as being
one,
human.
like North Star or whatever. Any single person's story on this planet is amazing. Every single one of theirs. It's just a matter of like how well is their story told.
Gotcha. Totally.
So like I mean, we touched a little bit, and then we'll get into our number one. And I think we're probably burning on time, right?
Yeah. It's almost 12.
But like, I'd like you to just say a little bit about like the power of cinema. I'm really trying to like project that to all 6
I
people.
think the
that are
majority
watching.
of people in the world, and including myself, maybe I'm wrong, but I think the majority of people are either hands-on learners or affected by things by doing things or by seeing things, visual. So you call it visual storytelling.
Mhm.
Visual storytelling. You know, when I was just watching the Steven Spielberg thing recently, Martin Scorsese's in it, and he's talked about Steven. And he would say that sometimes he would just watch movies and he'd turn off the sound.
Dude, have you ever
And
done
so
that?
it's- Yeah.
It's
So it's like you
legit-
just
yeah,
have pictures.
yeah.
So the reason I
That
say
can
that,
really.
the amazing part
Great,
of cinema,
great. I'm so glad you
cinema,
fucking.
cinema.
If you if you want to learn, Kai, do this. Take a movie that you think's good or great, and watch it without sound, and then tell me if it's fucking great. That will tell you. That's the fucking trick. Nice.
So and I think that's what that's telling the story, visual storytelling.
Yep.
And it's like I think it's key. Not to like say sound's not important. Please don't take that. Sound is incredibly important. I think a majority of the time, the reason a film will go down is because people ignore sound because they think they can just get off on the images and not have to worry about the sound. So do whatever you do. Don't think that I'm saying sound sucks. But that's my opinion. Cinema.
All right, number one. Kai, you ready? Kai, do you know what my number one favorite movie of all time is? Kevin, I want you to come in here. Anybody that knows me knows what my favorite movie is of all time. This is Kevin Kolb, everybody.
Howdy there.
Kai, link up at kevinkolb or whatever. Or
.us.
yeah, exactly. Instead of me telling the people what my favorite movie is, I want you to tell them. And we didn't practice. We didn't rehearse this. Chase, right? We've been.
I don't even know what you're about to say. I'm waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what my favorite movie of all time is. My number one.
I don't even know if
Do you
you're
know
about to
it?
tell me.
Do you know it? This is risky. I'm nervous.
He's nervous. And you know it? Sure you know it?
Oh, Kevin, don't disappoint. Go.
It's fucking Predator!
Dude, I love that movie!
I was gonna say
It
My
makes
Little
sense.
Pony, but
Since you're loving Arnold, I love that movie.
All right, we gotta finish up.
So what do you think about the remaking a new one now?
No, it's good. Whatever. Da, 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 da.
You know they're doing another one again.
Yeah, Shane Black is writing and directing. I'm actually looking forward to it. The
I
second
wanna watch
trailer
it
just
too.
came out
I wanna
recently,
watch
and it
it
looks
too.
better than the first trailer. To go. But Predator is.
What's wrong, Dylan?
It's
Say
just-
that you push too many
So
pencils?
it's like and I'll repeat what I said in the fucking video that I did yesterday. I hate the 3-act structure, although it's perfectly done in that movie. I like it's not the greatest movie of all time. It's not the great. Same back to like our favorite album is not our favorite art. You know what I mean? All that stuff. Like I get it. However, that movie is like a father to me.
I love that movie.
I would watch that movie. I would go out my back door, and I would pretend I was Dutch. My dog was named. I named him Dutch. I knew I was gonna name my dog before I even got. You know. So like, everybody, if you're watching, you know Predator's my favorite.
Amazing.
But anyway, all right, cool.
Well,
number one.
My
Here we
number
go.
one is actually a movie you listed earlier on one of your lower movies, one of your lower lists. My top movie of all time that has been probably the most deciding factor in doing what I do is Braveheart. Braveheart.
Excellent.
When I
Curious to hear.
When I see something about honor and sacrifice, doing something greater than yourself for the people, or but even beyond the story, as you said, was brilliant and amazing. No matter if people say, yeah, but they changed it how it really was, and it's not.
Exactly.
So what?
Right. Yeah.
It's a beautiful movie,
Yeah.
and again, Mel he's my top 5 favorite director.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson.
Interesting.
Apocalypto,
Yeah.
I mean, look at Passion.
I think so. People say Citizen Kane is the best movie ever made, and I know why, and I agree with it. I also think The Passion of the Christ it should be considered as the greatest movie ever made.
It's such
not
a,
only because of like how good it is. Like you want to watch a movie without sound?
Damn.
No problem. Like you're good.
Wow, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But not only that, the subject matter and the whole story of how he was like, no, nobody wants to fund it. All right, to fucking check myself and do it.
Look what happened.
And it became one of the biggest movies. You know what I mean? Like
time,
for everything around it. Yeah, that's interesting that he's your favorite director. I love him so much.
Yeah. Totally.
Shout out to you, Mel. If you ever watch this, hit me up. By the way, he's tattoos. When the artist.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I want him to produce it.
I'm talking about it.
Mel, produce Apocalypse with Chase.
Well, he wants you to be in Apocalypse too. You want your tattoos in the movie. The
Yeah,
character.
the main character. Like, let's go. All right, we good on time, Kai? Like, should we wrap it up?
Yeah, a little past
Yeah,
12.
we should.
All right.
This was awesome.
This was super fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my man.
My pleasure.
I love you.
I love you.
You're the best. I usually do a movie recommendation. So we did our top 5, so that's a lot of recommendations. But so I don't think we need one, right? Do you have anything?
To watch a movie?
Well, like at the
What
end
do
of
I
every
say?
podcast, I always try to pick something that like
More-
has to do with like the subject that we talked about, but also like something that somebody hasn't really maybe heard of. or
You know
seen.
what? I was playing games with Robert late last night, and he shared with me the most amazing. I'm a huge fan of composers. I'm a musician as well.
Yeah,
Composers.
big time.
One of my top favorite composers of all time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he passed away recently.
Mm-hmm.
Is the late James Horner,
Mm-hmm.
who composed
Aliens.
and Braveheart and
Yeah.
most of Mel's movies
Yeah.
and James Cameron's movies.
Yeah.
And, but last night we started talking about a particular score that James Horner did. You're kind of going to probably maybe be thrown.
All right.
There was a movie when we were kids. It came out. It's called The Land Before Time.
Okay, yeah.
Go check out The Land Before
Dude,
Time.
this
I
is
just wanna-
super funny.
because it's off. I don't want to
this is crazy because I just started this movie Monday thing of like the other intern goes out and buys VHS tapes
Yeah.
and like tries to stump me. I'm like, I'd never seen this movie, and she picked Land Before Time 5, and I was like,
5? I don't know if I've
I've
seen
never seen,
5.
and she was like, and I was like, I don't even
5.
know if I've seen number 1.
I've seen one.
Yeah.
I used to watch that a million when I was a kid, man. In my childhood, and that score. If you just the score, this is where you can do the complete opposite, where you close your eyes and listen to the score,
Right.
and it takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
Makes me cry.
Okay, so I'll use my movie recommendation,
Yeah.
tie it in with great score,
Yeah,
and it's a cool story behind it. Did you see Guy Ritchie's King Arthur last year that came out with Charlie Hunnam?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Soundtrack's good.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So I see 2 movies a year in theaters, and that was by myself. That happened to be one of them that I spoiled myself and went and watched, and I immediately fell in love with the score.
Yeah.
this past year at Sundance, I'm at some party and I'm talking to a guy and I'm like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a film composer, and he's based out of the UK. And I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I love.
What have you done?
No, not even that. Like, but I love to talk about composers because I'm very passionate about it as well. Even though I'm not musically gifted, you know. And he was talking, and I was like, yeah, man, did you hear the score for King Arthur last year? And he goes, that's my friend. He's based out of the UK. You know what I mean? And I was like, holy shit. Next time you see him, like, tell him he did an incredible job. It's just super, organic. You know?
I love it too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Chase Coleman, everybody.
Thank you.
This was fantastic. RynoRyder's podcast, Unplugged. A beautiful setting here with plants, young Kai filming. Chase, thanks again so much for coming on Saturday. I can't wait to work together again soon.
Likewise.
In the meantime, everybody, go out there and make it happen. Make whatever you want to do, whatever you want to happen in your life, just go make it happen. Whether that be write a movie, make a movie, star in a movie.
Do something creative.
Do something creative. Do something that you feel passionate about. Get that fucking voice and fire out of your system. You'll have a better life. I promise you.
Yeah. See you later.
RynoRyder out!